All right, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Trivial Debates. We got three great contestants here to go through this week's topics of Trivial Debates here for the month of July. So this is if you haven't listened to this podcast before, it's just give you a quick rundown of what to expect over the next probably hour and a half to 2 hours. This is the ultimate pulp culture challenge, guys. I mean, we got movies, TV, music, sports, history, a wild card theme round. There's 6 rounds, and everybody, each question is posed out to our 3 panelists that we have here for this week, and the top 2 panelists will go to a speed round to determine who's the best at trivial debating these questions that I have laid out here. So without further ado, let's bring in our 3 panelists. We have first up Jaemeel Robinson, who's here to rep from the DS9 podcast. This is his first appearance on Trivial Debates, but maybe it'll be the strongest one yet. We'll find out. Bringing in the next contestant number 2, we have Chris Seymour.
Hello.
Chris Seymour's never won, I don't think, but you never know.
But being on that,
he has been a contestant many times, but nobody has really won more. He's the winningest member in Trivial Debates history. It's Jody Simpson, bringing him in, contestant number 3. Say hello, everybody, and we're gonna break into this pretty quick, but. If you guys have any opening words, you're welcome to say hello and welcome to the game show.
You're going down like always, Chris.
Okay, we'll see.
And nice to have you, Jaemeel.
Jody, very good comment. Yes, I do agree. He is going down.
I believe so.
Unfortunately for you, you will join him.
Oh, them some fighting words.
If Jody debates as passionately as he loves the Bajorans, then I think we will have quite a winner on our hand over there in contestant number 3 land. Okay, so we're gonna get to the movie questions first, and round number 1, ding ding ding. Okay, so the question for the movie round this week is: pick a movie that best defines the decade it was made within. We're going to start with contestant number 2, Chris Seymour. What was your pick for best movie made in the decade it was made within, and it defines that decade?
Okay, my movie was made in 2010. So technically, I guess it has to define the decade between 2010 and 2019. I went with The Social Network. Reason I chose this movie is because I first went on Facebook back in 2006. Didn't know what the hell I was doing. Didn't know what it was about, what I was getting into. I didn't know that for the next 14 years of my life, I'd be relying on Facebook to show me ads, to connect with friends, to meet with people that I haven't seen for years. And the movie really is pretty much about Mark Zuckerberg and his rise to fame. After creating Facebook, basically, and I think that it defines a generation because we're in that generation now where kids want to learn programming, they want to learn coding, they want to make an app, they want to make a web page where they can become an instant billionaire. And it might only define that generation. I've heard a lot of Gen Z kids saying nowadays Facebook is for old people. So I guess it does define the generation it was made within.
Okay, that's good with 10 seconds left. Okay, over to contestant number 3, Jody Simpson. What was your movie pick for this question, the movie that best defines the decade it was made within?
I picked the 80s as a decade, and the movie I picked was The Breakfast Club, which was made in 1985. John Hughes film, notorious for being 80s. If you're part of my generation, I'm in my mid-40s now, and if you're in my generation, you definitely grew up with this movie. Every time you think of, the 80s, I think of Breakfast Club. It sits with me exactly the way I believe John Hughes anticipated it to be. We have the Brat Pack, which is obviously a play on words for the Rat Pack. Ali Sheedy, Emilio Estevez, and so on. These characters defined the 80s to me. They were everything that was happening in schools in the 80s. You had the jock, you had the little goth girl kind of girl, and all that stuff. Overall, every time I think of this movie, I listen to the soundtrack. For instance, it just screams 80s. There's literally nothing here that doesn't say 80s in this movie. It is literally a picture of the 80s. John Hughes captured it beautifully, and on top of that, very good writing, and of course, fictional town. But past that, it's great. It just everything just screams 80s in that movie to me.
Okay, great. That with 3 seconds remaining, that was a great timing there. Okay, so now we're gonna head over to contestant number 1, Jaemeel Robinson. What was your pick for the movie that defined the decade it was made within?
My pick was Clueless, the movie Clueless, made in 1995 by Amy Hackingling. Sorry. This movie is a perfect representation, a snapshot, if you will, of the 1990s and its culture. And when I think of the 1990s, I think of the potpourri that it was across various means of fashion, music, representation as well. And this movie is a perfect example of it. So we're going to be discussing during this debate. I'm going to be talking about main points of fashion, cultural impact, as well as the fashion and soundtrack. This movie is absolutely 90s. Trust me, you will see.
Okay, all right. Now we'll go into a little bit of a free for all, but with me kind of moderating here. And just maybe kind of asking some leading questions and just to kind of get you guys on the right track as far as the debate goes. So why is, other than like, I heard you guys touch on different points here, like Chris had the point that it kind of defines like the way we act. I feel like Jody kind of talked about like why it was kind of a snapshot in time, and kind of Jaemeel was the same. But why does yours stand out because of that decade? Like, what did they do to make, like, where you say to yourself, like, oh, that's so 90s, or that's so 80s, or that's so, the 10s, I guess we would call it. We'll start with Chris since he went first. And then we'll just you guys can have a conversation amongst yourselves and just kind of figure out, like, why does yours stand out? Chris?
Because before 2010, really, there was Facebook. It did exist. But people didn't use it to the extent that they've been using it for the past decade. People didn't use it to arrange social gatherings. It like takes over our whole life now. It's like the biggest support you can even give a business now is not even to write a review about them. It's just to like their page.
Okay, Jody?
I disagree with Chris's pick. I think it's absurd. This is a movie that's historically inaccurate almost completely. I don't even think. Well, I understand that, but I just don't. The minute I think of The Social Network, all I think is Justin Timberlake acting. Like that's really it. Like and the two guys that were actually one guy. Past that, it doesn't define anything for me. I don't look at that movie and then go, oh man, I remember 2010, great time. It's like I just don't. And Jaemeel's actually, I agree with Jaemeel when it comes to the 90s. That is definitely, in my opinion, one of the defining movies of the 90s. But between the two movies, there's no question my movie is a much better movie. Chris is gone. He's given up.
Jaemeel, like, what do you say? Like, I do kind of feel like Clueless is maybe the Breakfast Club of the 90s. Why is the Clueless a better movie to define its decade than the Breakfast Club?
Well, Breakfast Club, although being it is a very good movie. Great choice, Jody. I'm very disappointed in Chris's pick. I thought he could have brought a little bit more effort to this debate. But
I completely agree.
As you can see from his current his screen, he has nothing much to offer in terms of the conversation. Uh, I feel like The Breakfast Club is a good movie, but not the strongest of Hughes' legacy of 80s values, although it does have a couple, a couple of representatives of the 80s culture. When you said the jock, the burnout, the brain, and also the freak,
Princess and the freak and
princess
all
as
that. Yeah.
well.
Yep.
Um, I I feel like it's missing a little melanin, if you know what I'm saying. Right now, it's a good movie, great movie, but I feel like it captures part of the 80s and not the entirety of the 90s that Clueless does.
It's a good point. Jody, rebuttal?
I can't totally agree with that. When I watch Clueless, I definitely get a snapshot of the time when it was made, which I think is what 94, 95?
95, great callback.
Yeah. So it's certainly good. The cast of characters is not nearly as nice as the Hughes movie is, in my opinion. And being it, this question is about the movie as well, not just the decade. I feel mine is just a stronger point.
Okay. And Chris.
I'm having a smoke.
Does Chris have anything to counter I feel like Jody and Jameel's picks are very iconic, smack in the middle of the decades that they picked.
I also have a little bit of evidence here that I'd like to submit as possible.
Right. Yes, Jody. You are allowed to approach the bench and provide evidence against Chris.
That's great. I actually have a screenshot here of my phone.
Not allowed to use that.
Where Chris clearly says that he's pissed off that I picked Breakfast Club.
He says, "Quote: Fuck you! I know you stole Breakfast Club."
Yes. Now, I believe he was saying that as lovingly as he could, so I don't want you to reflect that as being a personal attack. But I feel that he just does not. He believes that my movie is the pinnacle of this question.
Well, I have a question for you.
I thought about it after I came up with a better idea. So
no, you didn't.
Point Jody. Point Jody for that one.
I have a quick question. Do you guys feel that The Social Network better defines like the 2000 to 2009 or 2010 to 2019? Which decade does that movie better define?
I think 2010 to 2019.
It doesn't define it because the whole movie is not about that time period. It's actually about when they started making Facebook, and then eventually it went to it. Like it doesn't define it.
He's absolutely correct. I cannot disagree with that statement. It is about the aughts and not about the 2010 to 2009. Sorry, 19. And what does it really cover? You haven't really brought up like exactly what is it capturing. Does it capture the fashion? It really only focuses on Harvard and Stanford and not really what everyone is doing. I can't go back to The Social Network and it's like, oh, I remember wearing that during that time period. What music was playing during this movie outside of Trent Reznor's great score, but it doesn't really highlight that time period as well. So can you please, Chris, please tell me how is the connective tissue of this movie representing that time period? Because you haven't told me anything. You told me how it impacts you, but it doesn't tell me how it impacts the time period in general.
For future reference to the producers, anytime Jaemeel is on, I'll be more than happy to be on.
Well, Chris, you got to fight for your movie here. They're taking you behind the barn here a little bit.
I wanted Breakfast Club, and I would have argued it better.
Okay, Chris, thank you for your participation. Jody, I'll be talking and directing my energy towards you going forward.
I think Chris threw the white towel on question one. Okay, so all right, Jody and Jaemeel, both of you have said kind words about each other's movies, but can I get some negative words about maybe each of each other's movies, and then
Alicia Silverstone.
Okay, does a great job.
Oh, she can't act her way out of a wet paper towel. Like this girl's terrible. She's always been terrible. This movie would be phenomenal if there was another lead actress in there. You have Paul Rudd barely being used to his potential. Mind you, he was pretty much a nobody at that point anyway. Stacey Dash, okay, one hit wonder. Stacey Dash, come on. My cast went on to do exceptional movies after this. Even
Oh, okay. Okay.
they all have at
Please,
least one or
please.
two good ones.
One or two. Please proceed. Please. I would love to hear this murderer row of amazing movies. Ali Sheedy's amazing career, please.
Emilio.
Ali Sheedy, come on, dude. Short Circuit.
Short Circuit.
Short
That's
Circuit.
what we're hanging our
Phenomenal
hat on.
movie.
Short Circuit.
What about Judd Nelson? He was harsh.
Judd Nelson was harsh for
Yes.
sure. Honestly, I'm not very up to speed on Judd Nelson's film career. Emilio Estevez did a lot
Speaks
of
for
movies.
itself. Emilio, yes.
Emilio, Mighty Ducks being one of my faves, but obviously not critically acclaimed. But anyway,
It's still a good movie. I will.
Yep,
That's
stuff like that. I can't think of anybody in your main cast of the group, the posse, whatever you want to call them, that really did anything good other than the black guy. I can't remember his name. I'm really sorry. But he was in Scrubs.
Scrubs, yeah.
Yeah,
He
did a
was
really
in the
great job.
long-running, critically acclaimed Scrubs.
Yeah.
He was absolutely.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he's talking
Yeah.
about the guy.
Paul
Yeah.
Rudd. Paul Rudd. People go back to Clueless as the beginning of their love infatuation with Paul Rudd.
But Paul
Why
Rudd
did
doesn't
they-
shine in that movie.
Oh, he does. You
Mm,
talk
I
to
disagree.
any of the ladies, and they say they love the Paul Rudd in Clueless.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Trust me.
Okay, I
Stacey
think-
Dash, in terms of her acting career, and let's not talk about her politics, crazy woman. In terms of
Would agree.
in terms of her in, let's say, black culture, so you have to take this expert opinion, she has been one that has had a big cultural impact. She's been referenced in a multitude of rap songs of being a figure in terms of black beauty.
Okay. I think I'm gonna, cut the debate here. I think you guys have all made some great
Can I just give one more point?
We didn't talk about
Sure,
soundtracks
Mike.
too. We should talk about soundtracks.
Okay, quick with the why is Jaemeel? All right, I know the Breakfast Club soundtrack, really, really
Who
well.
doesn't?
It's
Who
iconic.
doesn't?
Why is what are some of the songs that Clueless uses that really define it?
No doubt, Just a Girl, which, looking at the time period, that is a great jumping point for like such a cultural movement, and also a band that is just exploded after that time. You have En Vogue and Salt Pepper with Shoop, right, which is still hitting today. You have Radiohead. You have Supergrass, the Cranberries, Counting Crows, Coolio, Rolling with the Homies. Like,
Terrible song for Coolio.
it's
Come
a
on.
terrible song, but it does a great job in terms of referencing the cornucopia, the variety of genres that are being presented there.
Okay, and Jody, like, why is the Breakfast Club why is it defined the '80s so much more? Real quick, you got 15 seconds here to kind of give me your last quick wrap up on why the Breakfast Club's the best.
It's everything that is 80s. I literally think of 80s. That's the first thing that comes to mind. I said to my wife, I actually gave her the same question. First thing she said, Breakfast Club, right away. The soundtrack, just to go back to that, Simple Minds, Wang Chung, like, come on, man. Like, this is 80s, completely wrapped up in a little time capsule and given to you in movie format. Like, it's great. It speaks for itself. Like, even the host of this said it's an iconic soundtrack.
Okay.
Iconic.
All right. I'm gonna have to call it there. I'm gonna have to give this round to Jody. I think Jody earned that one.
Okay.
I was very impressed with the argument from Jaemeel, but I thought Jody had some good comebacks.
I was going to throw down the IMDb rating, but I figured that would be too brutal.
You would have killed me in terms of that. Great
Yeah.
argument, Jody. It seems
Thank you.
like it's going to be a two-person show, unfortunately.
The problem with Chris, though, is Chris knows a lot about some of the other subjects.
Chris comes out of left field,
especially
every now and
music.
then.
Music always surprises me with Chris. So.
All right, moving on to round number 2. We are going to go into TV here, guys. So this is a pretty broad question, but I thought we were going to get some interesting answers here. what TV show had the most impressive ensemble cast, meaning like over time and just like just the most impressive amount of people went on to do great other things, those kind of along those lines. So last time we started with Chris, but this time we'll start with Jody. Jody, what was your choice for the best TV show with the most impressive ensemble cast?
I went completely off the rails here compared to probably everybody else. I went with Monty Python's Flying Circus. And the reason why I did that was, and I'm sure you guys are at least aware of what that is. This was a British sketch comedy that was created by, obviously, the Monty Python comedy group, which consists of Graham Chapman, John Cleese, Eric Idle, Terry Jones, Michael Palin, and Terry Gilliam. Terry Gilliam, who later had quite a film career, not only directing, but also doing some animation, stuff like that. Overall, these guys just work together. They work together so well. They mesh. There's been times where I've actually read articles where they basically said these guys are the Beatles to TV sketch comedy. Like, these guys they sync so well. And obviously they've all had careers past this, especially Eric Idle, of course, John Cleese, Fish Called Wanda, for instance. They mesh so well, very entertaining to watch them. They feed off of each other. And there's times where you're like, how are they even getting through this skit? Like, it's mind blowing how they manage to just mesh and they write really silly stuff. Their movies are just hilarious, is all I can really say. But I think it really speaks for itself. I don't think I have much more I need to say about it.
Okay. Jaemeel, you're next. What TV show did you pick with the best ensemble?
I picked a show that is in a genre that I'm not particularly fond of, and that is procedurals, medical procedurals. And when you think of the medical procedure, a long-standing format in terms of television, you think
ER.
of the show ER. Exactly. Thank you. See, automatically, I didn't even give what I was saying, and I have people from the other panelists jumping in. This show has captured the imagination of its audience during its run, and it did so because of its impressive cast. Its cast that has moved on and continued to become icons in other parts of pop culture. So you will see with my argument the large variety of individuals, some, not good actors, some megastars, but you will all see that it overall a large and impressive cast.
Okay. Great intro, Jaemeel. Moving over to Chris. What was your choice for best ensemble TV cast?
Well, it seems like I didn't understand the question fully. I didn't.
Point for Chris.
Is that a point or a negative?
I didn't.
What did you take the question to mean, Chris?
I didn't know the cast had to go on and continue doing good things.
I don't think that's required.
No, it doesn't have to. It's just it was kind of like an interesting retrospect.
It's our
right?
focus. It's our focus.
I just thought they had to work well together on the show, and that's why I chose Big Bang Theory. I watched that show from beginning to end. I watched that show. You know what I loved about that show? Everyone.
Katie Keiko?
No.
Don't say no like that. Like it's disgusting.
What is wrong with you?
Everyone on that show meshed together really well, even though they had to play these really socially awkward characters. So the way they brought everything together was just amazing. And you know that that show actually had to be fact checked by scientists. It had to actually be correct. Like there was nothing on that show that wasn't false. Sure, it was a comedy show, but like all the facts were fact checked, and the cast worked amazing together. And over the years, I think the show was on for 8 or 9 years.
Did you know that they fact checked Jeopardy as well?
Different. And it's
do you consider all the guest stars on Big Bang Theory part of that ensemble cast, and is that part of what made the show good as well?
Well, the guest stars like Kevin Smith was on there, Will Wheaton was on there.
Yeah,
tons of guests. I wouldn't say they necessarily made it better. It was the core group that really held that show together and made it enjoyable to watch every week.
Okay, and how about you guys, Jody and Jaemeel? You go first, Jody. Um, did your show have good guest stars, and did it make it better as part of an ensemble cast?
There wasn't a lot of guest stars on the original Monty Python Flying Circus, as far as I remember. I don't think your guest stars should have anything to do with the question, really. An ensemble cast is the ensemble cast. If you look at Chris's ensemble cast, they actually had to add people because it was doing not great
That's
in
not
compared to
what
what they actually did.
Well, they added the girl from Blossom, right?
They added two. They added two
Yeah,
girls.
because Sheldon needed to get a girlfriend. Like they couldn't just leave him single
But
forever.
Because
you
Sheldon was such a terrible character that they needed someone to soften him up. You mean? Thank you.
No.
Okay, Jaemeel.
absolutely, Jaemeel.
With your show, ER, what stands out as far as like your ensemble cast? Were there guest stars? Were there anything like that kind of
Guest stars galore. Like ER was like a revolving door of guest stars. Like some of the guest stars were like
And cast.
and cast too. But like you have like Academy Award winners just showing up. They're doing their stint in ER, like William H. Macy showing up on it, and then you have their main cast that includes like George Clooney, Anthony Edwards. You got Goose from Top Gun on the main cast, right? Juliana Margulies from The Good Wife. You know, she's moved on to it. George Clooney, megastar. You know, both behind and in front of the camera, right?
Noah Wiley.
No Wiley, yeah. No Wiley, I'm not hanging my hand on. See, I can even bypass other like main stars because there's so many people to choose from. Ming-Na Wen, cultural icon that she is, Paul McCrane as well, and how he that's an iconic character and performance right there, right? So I could keep going. Like I could literally keep going.
Okay, I think I've heard enough. I'm going to give this point to Jaemeel. I think he has the strongest pick and the best argument for his pick. So we'll give him the applause he deserves here. We have our scores now. Jody 1, Jaemeel 1, Chris 0.
Oh, I'm surprised.
I think that's going to change.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're moving on to a category Chris knows well, and I think Chris will have a good argument for music. So our question this week for the music round is, what is the best piece of music you can think of with no vocals? And this time we will start with Jaemeel. What was your answer for this question?
My name is mine. Sorry, is Pachelbel's Canon in D. It is an iconic song in two realms specifically. Two specific realms. Sorry, three. One, classical music. It's a classic in the classical music field. Two, it is the wedding song. It is the song that is used at almost every single wedding, right? You throw a wedding, it comes preloaded with it. Okay. And then third, it is the basis for a lot of pop songs that people use the chords as the backing of their tracks. That all cultural impacted songs that people think of throughout the 90s, aughts, and even today.
Okay. Moving on over to Chris. What was your pick for the best song with no vocals?
Okay, my song with no vocals, iconic Canadian band Rush, and their song YYZ. This song, as we know, was named after the Toronto airport. It's a prog rock song. Neil Peart, Alex Lifeson, Geddy Lee, they just gel so well together. What can I say? I can't play the song because we'll get shut down on Facebook. But if you know the beginning of the song, it'll ding, 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 ding. Anyways, that part was written in 5/4 time. The reason they did this is because that part, that drumming, that beat, is actually Morse code for YYZ, and it will blow your mind when you think of like how does a band even think in that creative capacity when they're trying to write a song. After that, the tempo changes many times. A lot of 7/8 times, 6/8 times in there. A lot of good riffs. The melody changes at least 12 times throughout this 6-minute song. Even though there's no lyrics, there's never a point in this song where you're bored. It's just pure bliss to listen to.
Okay. Thanks, Chris, for that answer. We'll move on to our final argument for this round, which is Jody. What did you pick? I know it took you a few tries to get to a song that actually had no vocals. So what did you end up
Yes.
on?
I tried to pander to the judge, but it didn't work. So I picked Cliffs of Dover by Eric Johnson, which is basically a guitar composition in G minor. The song itself is, to me, every time you hear it, it just pumps you up. It's just energy. I even remember playing it in like Guitar Hero, like the game. But yeah, it was in Guitar Hero 3. So it instills, every time I hear it, it's like a power ballad, just that kind of thing. YYZ, I don't even know what you were thinking there. And as for Jameel's, decent pick, but honestly, Wedding, no, I'm good. I rather have something that I'm going to enjoy, and that's really Cliffs of Dover. It's a fantastic song.
Jody, let me ask you a question. Do you
Sure.
like the Beatles?
Do I like the Beatles? I don't
Yes.
mind the Beatles.
Well, Pacabella's Canon in D is featured in Beatles songs, top
Absolutely.
Beatles songs. Yeah. Did you graduate by any chance from school?
Did
Right,
I
you have
graduate
kids?
from school?
You have your kids. You've gone to graduations before, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You know Friends Forever by Vitamin C?
Yep.
Based on
That
Pacabella's
doesn't,
Canon in D.
just because I know it doesn't make it good, Jaemeel.
Oh, okay. Green Day. Do you like Green Day?
Not very much.
That's okay. What is your favorite Green Day song?
Oh, probably. You know what? I like American Idiot myself, but
Not the one I was looking for, but that's okay. If you like Basket Case.
I know what you were looking for. That's why I didn't say it.
Basket Case also. All right. Everyone likes anthems. Anthems are pretty iconic, right?
It's
Why
so
don't we
good
use
that
an
there's
anthem?
no version of it that you can actually say that's the definitive version, though, right?
Of what?
Of that
Pacabella's
song.
D. It's such a great piece of music that it can be adapted in so many ways, and it's still the essence of is there. Once you hear those chord progressions, you automatically know it's Pacabella's D. It's so used, it's so influential, and even a country based its entire anthem on Pacabella's D. Canon
Which country?
D. Russia.
Oh, good. I wanted to make sure you knew that.
Okay,
Come on.
Chris, what do you got to say about these two choices that are not by like a major band, but they're like famous pieces of music?
Well, Jameel's song, I understand it's iconic, and we hear it at different.
Oh, there's no doubt it's iconic for sure.
But it's not something like if it was on the radio, I'd probably change the station, to be honest, because it's boring.
Especially if I hear Vitamin C, I'm definitely changing the channel.
I want to hear something else. And part of your argument is that that a lot of bands sampled it. So what? There's a lot of samples out there.
Yeah.
Cliffs of Dover, I guess. I don't know. It's just a power ballad.
It is.
I wouldn't change the station. But YYZ, by the way, Jody, you said YYZ. I wanted to remind you that we're Canadian.
God. Come on. Is that the fire you're bringing?
If that's all you got, you might as well just disconnect now.
No, it's got tempo changes throughout the whole song. It's got an amazing bass line. It's got an amazing it's got like drum solos throughout it. It's interesting to listen to.
No, I can do without it. So this is why the argument that you just presented concerning my pick about you not wanting to listen to it and you changing the channel, that's fun, but not really a good point because it isn't about what I like or what you like. We're talking about its influence, right? And Rush is very influential. I will state that as a band.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Right?
Yep.
As a band. But that is just the band itself, right? There are songs that people like, some people don't like. Rush has had a very great career, I will say, right? Everyone has their favorites. That's cool. Pacabella's D, like Canon in D, is everyone's favorite because it's almost in every song. So there you go. That
every song.
It's in a good portion of people's songs. Okay? people write songs with it as its baseline because it's so its chord progression because it is so good. It's an easy template to just
It's
pop
so
in.
good that you have to keep telling us every other song it's in, but yet you sit here and you're just like, oh, it's been clipped so many times. Well, so is like pretty much every fucking hip hop song in the last 20 years. So it's like my song itself, it's not fucked around with. This is how he made it. This is how you listen to it. It's in a fucking video game. That's how iconic it is, and
Mine's in a video game as well.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah, absolutely. But it just overall, like, all I'm hearing from you, Jaemeel, and no disrespect intended, but all I'm feeling from here is that it's sampled a lot. Yeah. Well,
I'm focusing on.
So is Van Halen's Jump.
I'm focusing on the sampling part because no one had disputed its iconic status in terms of the wedding sphere, right? I don't hear YYZ being used at weddings, right?
No,
and this is something that is used.
Nor would mine, I don't think.
Worldwide in terms of weddings, right?
I would
it
love
doesn't
a wedding
matter the
that used mine.
language or the culture. Apocalypse Canon and D, just it owns that sphere. So that's why I'm focusing on the other stuff.
Okay.
Because it's played at weddings.
Yeah, that doesn't sell it for me.
I think I've heard enough, and I think I'm ready to make my decision here. I'm going to give this point actually to Chris.
Really?
Oh no!
Yes, I feel like Chris actually made a good argument for YYZ. He actually mentioned a lot of things that were really great about YYZ as a song. The whole Morse code thing, the changing of time signatures. It's one of my favorite drops for an instrumental song when the keyboards come in.
Charity.
I listened to both your other songs, and Jody's. I was like, it was pretty, but I wouldn't listen to it like over and over.
I've never heard anybody say it was pretty, but that's amazing.
That's what.
I
That's
remember your song, Jody.
You would if you heard it.
Okay.
You'd be like 100%.
Jameel's was a hard one not to give it to, but at the same time, I do feel like the other two contestants kind of knocked you down a peg with the influence argument. But I do think that the best just to listen to on its own for me was YYZ. Okay, so moving on to the next round. We are now tied 1-1-1 here.
Good job, Chris.
We're moving on over to sports. Which sports team should bring back a former logo / color scheme to its permanent look?
I can't wait to hear what Chris says.
And I think, are we starting with Chris? I think we're starting with Chris this time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris, what did you pick?
I don't have a lot to say about it. I just like the original colors better, but I'm going with the Vancouver Canucks.
Like which one, the V or like the flying skate?
The flying skate with the black and yellow.
So
Okay.
not
Like the Technicolor rainbow thing?
It was black and yellow and red.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the Canucks with the skate.
With the skate. With the black, yeah. All right,
Yeah,
you
skate.
want to show it,
Yeah.
Dave?
You know what?
There it is. There's the jersey. He's offering to bring back over the orca whale and the blue and the green, right?
Yeah, the blue and the green and the white.
Oh.
You know what? It doesn't even say Canucks to me at all. Okay, it looks like a sea or whatever. It has a whale. I don't know. I just think that the yellow, the red, and the black is such a great contrast of colors. It looks amazing. Like the players look sharp when they come out onto the ice. Their current logo is just boring. That's it.
All right. So it's more of a logo thing, not even just colors, or is it everything?
It's the logo and the colors.
Logo and the colors. Okay. All right. Moving on over to Jody. Jody, what did you pick for this round here? Which team should bring back a former look?
I went with more of a classic look. I feel that their current look just isn't very good. I picked the Toronto Raptors. I loved the old purple with the great dinosaur logo on there. Nice and cartoony. Everything about this logo, there it is there. Yeah, everything about this I just love. It's to me, this is what the Raptors should be. The new one with the ball and the claw and the ball thing. It's too badass. There's no fun in it anymore. It was just a fun design. I was so pumped when they got their team, and I got to see this logo and everything, and it was great. And I still have, actually, I should have brought it down with me. I still have the original flag that I waved at one of the first games that I went to. So it's just, for me, it's a great look. I love the purple. I feel everything about it's great. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like the new color scheme. It's pretty nice, but that logo is just something that should have never left.
Okay, Jaemeel, what did you pick for which sports team should bring back a former logo / look?
So
permanent look.
I chose the LA Clippers, and
Okay, now I have a question. Which one do you mean? So are you talking about the baby blues?
So I want the orange and teal. They're San Diego Clippers colors.
Okay, we're gonna look that up to show. But
Yeah, let's bring that up because I don't remember it.
I wasn't sure which one you meant. So you're talking about the orange and teal look. Okay,
Yes.
The orange and baby blue.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think I remember it now. Okay, yeah.
So the LA Clippers have an identity crisis currently. The LA Clippers are currently gosh, woo, just sweet. The LA Clippers currently have an identity crisis. They're sharing the same city as the LA Lakers, the iconic LA Lakers. They are sharing the same building as the LA Lakers. They have a history where they bounced around with various cities, from Buffalo to San Diego, and then eventually to LA. They haven't had an iconic identity that they can rely on. The Clippers name is based upon its San Diego time period, and I think that's what they need to go back to as they try to reclaim their past, right, to have a strong future.
I have a question. What is a clipper?
So the Clippers are referenced in terms of the boats, right? So when you have the boat sail, right, they partially call that a clip, right? So it's known for its great sailing. San Diego as a city.
Yep.
Rep to San Diego Comic-Con, rest in peace, for time period. And the logo, the 1978 logo that they've used, was based upon the actual sailboats. So you had the sailboats as its icon, its logo, and then the cool orange and baby blue teal color scheme. It is in vogue right now, and going forward, people are looking back and loving those classic neon colors. That's why Miami had its Miami Vice Knights, and it did a great job in terms of selling out. Like, you could not find those jerseys anywhere. Sold out like crazy. The Clippers going back to that color scheme would be the best, one, in terms of getting their merchandise sales up, two, reclaiming their identity, and three, it just looks cool. It's awesome. I want
Okay.
it back.
All right, guys. Fight amongst yourselves here of why yours is the better choice.
I have already forgotten Chris's, so obviously it wasn't that good. What did he pick again?
The
The
Canucks.
the flying skate.
Oh, and he didn't want he wants the flying skate back. You're on drugs. You're on drugs.
When you come out in a black uniform with like yellow on it and red, like you look mean. You look ready to play. The other team is going to be fearful of you. When you come out wearing like,
But there's nothing there that screams Vancouver. You wouldn't even know who the fuck they were.
Chris,
looks
what
like
is
a
a
bean.
Canuck? What is a Canuck?
Canadians.
Right. So like,
So the Montreal Canadiens already has that kind of like secured. So why are we being redundant? The Vancouver redundants is what you're telling me.
Vancouver redundants. That's amazing.
Their logo and their colors. We're not talking about the name of the team. If I was going to come out and
You came out and said you liked the logo.
I do like the logo.
The
And
logo's
why?
generic. It does not say anything about Vancouver.
We're not
This looks like something that I could literally go on to a Chinese website right now and get a whole bunch of them for my little, fucking beer league. Like it's garbage. This is a garbage logo.
Try drawing that logo one day.
I could.
Why would I
could.
want to?
I could. It's
All
a
I have to do is
circle.
put a ruler
It's a
down and go.
I
We're done.
draw that logo.
It's like the idea of a shape. It's just like I'm shading in a shape, and I made a mistake. Let me just put more colors to kind of make up for the fact that I can't draw an actual skate.
It's what the team looks like when they're out on the ice that's important. It's not. It's
a
not
blur. Yes, you would have to be drunk to be able to watch.
You can't even read
that
it.
Logo, right? You have to be drunk.
What am I supposed to do?
You're who? The yellow skates? What are you?
Am I supposed to go out there to play basketball and be afraid of your baby blue team? No.
Yes, actually. Yes.
Here's the Clippers logo.
You can see the sails.
3 sails.
It looks like something that should be in the sequel for Anchorman.
Semi-pro? Or you mean semi-pro? Which it's a reference to.
I know.
Semi-pro references to it.
Yeah, but it's boring. The thing that I love about my pick is that Raptors logo, that Raptors icon, it's something that was ingrained in kids. It was all over the merch. Everything was great about it. And
why was it all over the merch?
Because it brought, well, obviously it's their logo. It has to be all over their merch. But
because Jurassic Park was a big thing.
Absolutely. The Raptors wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for Jurassic Park.
Does it make sense for the Raptor to be wearing a basketball uniform?
Why not? He's a Raptor. He's playing.
Jeff, I have to give you minus points for that statement. Of course, it has to have the. It's a team mascot. What team mascot does not wear
going
its
after
uniform?
everybody. It doesn't matter who it is now. Jameel's like, I'm on to everybody.
Does the big R on the jersey make sense?
It's representing the Raptors. Why wouldn't it have an R?
Yeah. Okay, I'm just asking.
Everything about this screams exactly what it is, which is they're a basketball team. They're the Raptors. The R is huge. He's wearing an R on his chest. What more do you want?
Okay, so here's the problem.
He's even got a goddamn basketball in his hand.
I think the new logo looks much better, though. This is too cartoonish.
But that was drawing in that crowd. You had kids pumped about this, and you see kids running around right now. Not as much.
Yes,
not about that.
I see the current Raptors uniforms being used in rap videos, on popular television, and everything.
I'm talking the small kid demographic. I'm not talking the teenagers and up.
So here's the thing about the Raptors uniform. Although I have fond memories of it, memories. I don't want it to be my present. The Raptors logo, we are celebrating it currently because of where we came from. Mm-hmm. But where we are right now is what's important and what people are focusing on. And that's why we want to look back, but we don't want to move forward with that logo.
So why do we want to move back with the Clippers logo?
Yeah.
Because once again, the Clippers don't have a current culture that is representative of its team. When people think of the Clippers, they think it's the LA Lakers light, right? The color scheme, red, white, and blue, is so generic and more iconic with other teams like the Pistons, like the Washington Wizards, right? People don't think red, white, and blue. They don't think the Clippers. When you own a particular color scheme, right? People look at those colors, and when they say, when people say black and yellow, they don't think the Vancouver Canucks. They think the Steelers. They don't. They think the Steelers. Oh, what song says black and yellow, right? It's about the Steelers. It's not about the Canucks. Okay, so that's out of that, right? The teal, the baby blue, and the orange would be primarily for the Clippers. When people rep that, they'll know, that's a Clippers uniform. When you turn around the corner, right? Look, I'll even give Jody a bone. When you turn around the corner and you see purple, what do you think, right? When someone's wearing something Toronto, they're talking about the Raptors. No one says anything about yellow or black when it comes to Canucks. I don't turn a corner and say something black. Oh, it's the Canucks. No. Is it a Steelers uniform? Oh, no, it isn't. It's that old Vancouver business. They wouldn't even...
That's the logo in NHL 95.
Yeah. So...
Okay. So, yeah, I think we're good. Is there one more thing you want to show here, Dave? Okay, I think I'm good.
The only point I really want to make here, Jeff, is that I'm talking about the whole ensemble. I'm not talking just the colors. I'm not talking just the logo. I'm talking everything.
Okay, so for me on this one, I actually agree the most with Jody, but I have to give Jaemeel the point on this one because he argued for. I didn't even know what a Clipper was. And he argued for like a thing where like
So they clearly needed another outfit.
they need a different outfit, where at least they explain to me what the hell they are, and a different logo. And
I'm not totally sure that logo does it though. It just looks like setting sun on the Sydney Opera House, but whatever.
it kind of does look at the opera house, right?
But I will accept the judge's thing, and well done, Jaemeel.
Well, good job, Jody.
And,
unfortunately, it seems it's a two-person race because some of these arguments I'm getting from Chris. It's Chris. Come on, man.
Well, I think I came in second on that one. I think I came in second.
No.
I would disagree with you hardly.
No, you were a distant third on that one, Chris. The Vancouver Canucks. Yeah, although I do like that jersey more than the current Vancouver Canucks jersey.
Doesn't define them.
It doesn't define them, and it's not like a must that they bring it back. It's better as a third jersey option.
Chris, no mention of Pavel Bure.
So?
Okay, fine.
No.
Okay. Moving on to the history round, which actually I think is going to be my favorite round of the six this
Naturally.
episode. Pick a movie that was the most unfaithful to history, but was still very entertaining. And I think on this round we are on to Jody going first.
All right.
Jody, what did you pick for this one?
This one came right away to my head. I'm, as you know, Jeff, probably. I'm a pretty big World War II buff. So it's for me. This movie does have some good, nice things in it, but for the most part, it's terrible. Which is Pearl Harbor, 2001, I believe. This movie is god awfully wrong. It's wrong in almost everything. Like, you know, the absurd fact that these guys would be, you know, even in a bomber squad later on in the movie is just absurd. The fact that they shot down all these planes in Pearl Harbor, barely any planes were shot down in Pearl Harbor by the Americans. Like, this is, there's so many inaccuracies about this movie. It's mind blowing. Is it still fun to watch? For the most part, yes, with the exception of the romance side plot thing going on there. Didn't really enjoy that all that much. I actually have a little quick blurb here I wouldn't mind reading if that's all right. Historian Lawrence Sood, which is actually, he's fairly well known, it said that the film's action bears little more of a remote resemblance to the real event. Rafe and Danny, which are the two main characters, shoot down dozens of planes during the attack. Well, real U.S. pilots hit very few. The other thing is that these fighter pilots would never be sent to Tokyo to be part of a bomber pilot thing. They no training at all. And now I'm cut off.
Yeah,
I had more, but that's fine.
That's good. There's a lot to talk about in a 90-second period. Moving over to Jaemeel, what was your choice for the movie that was the most unfaithful to history but was the most entertaining?
I chose Abe Lincoln, Vampire Hunter.
I gotta give you credit for that, but
Jaemeel, when I read your answer, I thought this is the King Daddy Topper to just as an answer to this question. But all right, continue.
I wish I thought of it. That's all I can tell you.
I honestly could not think of a movie that could do this question justice. This movie is a terrible movie. It is awful. But you watch it and it is ridiculously fun, right? It's absurd. It's taking history and presenting it in a fun way that you can watch with your kids when they become of age to watch vampire killing movies. And you can detail the actual history against this mishmash of action, violence, and carnage. It is a wonderful 2012 film that I think that everyone should own in their collection. I'm going to run out my time like that.
Yeah, you saw 20 seconds left, but we will go over to Chris and talk about his movie. What did you pick for the most unfaithful movie to history, but still one of those entertaining movies?
I went with a movie from 1995 on this one, if we remember Braveheart. This movie was Mel Gibson playing William Wallace, who was a real person. The movie is not at all historically accurate. I don't think we'd expect that from Mel Gibson, and I'm Not sure if that's
Well, back then they did expect it, I think.
maybe they did.
Yeah.
Like they had William Wallace. They had him as a farmer in the beginning of the movie, and his wife gets killed, and he has to take vengeance for his wife. Well, in real life, he wasn't a farmer. He was a well trained noble. He wasn't a peasant. Not only that, there was a battle at Stirling Castle in the movie. In real life, there was a battle. William Wallace and the Scots did defeat the English, but how they did it was because of William Wallace's genius and his maneuvering. There was a bridge, and the English were basically bottlenecked into this bridge, and that's how the Scots got in and defeated them. The movie mentions nothing about that. In the movie, the battle was epic. It's great to watch, but it took place in a field. So again, not historically accurate.
Okay. I think that's everybody in. Okay, guys, we're going to just pretty much argue the 2 points here. Why is your movie the most historically inaccurate, and why is it the most entertaining of the movies?
So you say the 2 points like Jody and mine, right? That's what we're arguing right now?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, Chris's pick is a good pick. I mean, they even say at the beginning of Braveheart, historians from England will say I'm a liar. So they already know that they're presenting a lot of bullshit in their movie. But which of these movies is the most entertaining, regardless of it's about history?
Well, I think Braveheart, but honestly, I've never seen Jameel's movie. I don't know if it's something that I would.
You are in for a treat, sir.
I've seen all three of these movies. Some of them repeatedly. Chris has a good pick, but I'll tell you right now, that is a fucking boring movie. I don't care what anybody says. That movie is just boring. Jameel's pick, I'll give him credit. Fucking fantastically fun to watch. It is a fun watch for sure. I myself was trying to get a mix of more of all of the aspects. And when I think of historically inaccurate, but yet entertaining, I think, well, I still want my explosions. I still want my equipment. I still want all that stuff. There was some things that were pretty accurate. Like some of the special effects were great, especially seeing like the planes flying into stuff and everything like that. Fantastic. The models that they used were fantastic as well. I myself just think that kind of puts mine ahead of the other two. There's so much bullshit in Jameel's, but I will stress, I never would have thought anybody would have picked that fucking movie.
What do you mean? Abe Lincoln was a vampire hunter. You don't know.
Whatever. Okay. It's a complete work of fiction. It was never intended to be historically accurate. Okay. Right. But Pearl Harbor, it really was supposed to be. It just they fucked it up. Braveheart.
Pearl Harbor?
Michael Bay.
So wait, they wanted Pearl Harbor to be accurate, and they decided to get.
He said on many occasions that he believes it is accurate. But yeah, picking Michael Bay, what the fuck?
If they wanted accurate, they would have gone at least closer to Oliver Stone as opposed to Michael Bay.
Well, I would agree with you as well, but when you're making a summer blockbuster with a then very popular star Ben Affleck, this is a movie where obviously you got to bring in somebody who's going to do a lot of visual effects, and let's be honest, Michael Bay, very well known for his action,
was that movie
whether
a
you
bomb?
like it or not.
Nope. It made tons of money.
Did really well actually, even though it wasn't very accurate. But people were, citing it as this was fact, and realistically, it was not fact. There was a lot that was wrong, and even if you get really nitpicky, there is even more wrong with it. Even stuff like planes showing up when they weren't even invented yet.
So, Jody,
stuff like that.
You bring up an important point that people have tried to reference Pearl Harbor as being fact.
Yes.
But it is, at least they were attempting to. With Braveheart, one, in terms of it being an entertaining movie, it is not, sir. It is a movie that people reference, and it has some good speeches, but everything in between that is glaze over time, right?
Yeah.
It is sleepy time, right?
Yeah.
There are some great performances. It's a good movie, but is it an entertaining movie? That it is not.
Yeah. The main thing the only real thing I have against Jameel's pick is the fact that I don't think it was ever intended to be historically accurate at all. It was literally, let's make Abe Lincoln a vampire hunter. Like there was nothing going into that movie where I thought, oh, maybe I'll learn something about Abraham Lincoln. No, I watched it because it's a fucking vampire movie. All right, that's why I watched it. Pearl Harbor was a movie that I thought going into the theater it would be a very accurate representation, and I was very disappointed. Even halfway through the movie, I'm like, wow, this is totally wrong.
So,
But still entertaining as hell, though.
So what you're telling me is that you went into Pearl Harbor thinking it was supposed to be faithful, or at least close to being faithful.
Well, it was even marketed that way.
Yeah,
This is the greatest.
The point of
greatest
this
battle, blah, blah, blah.
question, though, isn't what was was supposed to be the most faithful, but ended up not being the most faithful. This
I
is
agree.
just talking about in general what is the most unfaithful in history.
This is true.
That's entertaining.
Yeah, if you word it that way, yeah.
And
Absolutely.
Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter, like at the end of the movie, to match up with Abe Lincoln's death, they turn him into a vampire at the end. Spoiler alert. Sorry, Chris. Maybe next time. But yeah.
I don't know. That sounds ridiculous.
Confederate vampires.
But that automatically, I knew that this wasn't going to be anything to do with history. But I still watched it because I thought it was fucking hilarious. Amazing movie, fun, a lot of fun. But if you're interpreting the question the way I interpret it, which was essentially going into a movie that should be historically accurate but wasn't, that's the way I'm looking at it.
Good point, Jody. Good point, Jody.
Movie thinking I'm going to learn something here about history.
Yeah, but Braveheart, like there was a lot of hype. I was working for a video store when Braveheart came out, and I'll tell you right now, there was a lot of hype for that. I had Scots coming in all the time, going, "I want to see this."
Well, you know what? Even Braveheart was set in the 1200s.
Yep.
Like the Scots in the movie Braveheart were wearing tartan kilts. Tartan kilts weren't even invented for a couple hundred years later. So even that part is not accurate.
I don't think either Jaemeel or myself are really arguing the fact that your movie doesn't have inaccuracies. We know it has inaccuracies, but what we're saying is it wasn't fucking entertaining, and that's part of the question.
It was an amazing movie. I love Battleston.
Yeah.
For 1995 movie, unbelievable.
Now, obviously, for it to be entertaining, it really depends on the viewer itself, right? Like Jaemeel and I obviously clearly said we didn't enjoy it, but that doesn't mean there isn't people that didn't do. It did fucking really well. That movie did great.
$210 million. So
it did absolutely. So.
Braveheart and Pearl Harbor are more similar as an argument, I would say, in this category. I think the Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter is just the funniest answer because it's just it like you said, Jody, is not trying to be historically accurate. Everybody knows going in it's going to be silly.
No,
but it's hilarious that it's so unfaithful to history, but is also still very entertaining. But so are your other two choices. But if I just want to watch something entertaining, I think I'm going to have to go with Jameel's pick here with the Vampire Hunter because I think it answers the question
that wins
here.
What was that?
All right, so now we have 3 points for Jaemeel, 1 point for Jody and Chris. Going into the
looks
last round,
this might be a sweep.
To see who's going to go into the speed round with Jaemeel. He's already guaranteed himself. So we'll see who wins this point, though. Everybody still answers, including Jaemeel. What comedian was the best at mixing politics and comedy? And there was a lot of choices for this, so I expected a lot of different answers. None of you guys doubled up. Which is great. I think, are we starting with Jaemeel on this one? I think we are.
Yeah.
Jaemeel, who did you pick for this one?
I gave you two just in case one didn't fall out. I got my first one, right?
You got the first one, yes.
Wow. I'm surprised. This seemed like a slam dunk choice, and that was George Carlin. George Carlin is not only just a great comedian, he is one that has always pushed the boundaries in terms of politics. So much so that Congress has referenced his works to make policy change. This man has been influential to a multitude of generations and has found his way in a multitude of both books, audio CDs, and stand-up cases and movies. George Carlin, slam dunk case. Let's get to the debating as quickly as possible.
Okay. Chris, what did you pick for the best comedian that mixed politics and comedy?
went with Jeff Dunham on this one. Reason is I actually went to see him about 8 months ago in person.
Oh, okay.
The show is actually called Politically Incorrect. He's got this cast of characters that are just hilarious because like
this is the guy with the Muppets, right?
He does. Yeah. He has puppets.
Okay.
So imagine the Trump jokes you can have when you've got like Jose the jalapeno from Mexico, and then his other puppet is fucking Buddy, the beer swigging NASCAR loving guy. Then you got his other characters like Ahmed the dead terrorist. Like what other comedian would bring an East Indian dead terrorist into their act and think it was going to be funny, and it is. It's fucking hilarious when you see it. The reason he's so good at it is I think Jeff Dunham can portray any of these characters. He can say whatever he wants because it's not actually him saying it. It's coming out of the mouths of these characters that he's created. It's coming out of the mouths of these puppets because of his ventriloquism. He's even got the old guy, and they're just all hilarious. He can say whatever he wants, and not be. He can say politically incorrect shit and not get put down for it.
Okay, speaking of politically incorrect, we move on over to Jody. What was your choice over?
Jaemeel knows.
Good choice, Jody.
Clearly, I picked Bill Maher. This is a guy who has made his living on political comedian. This is it. Real Time with Bill Maher obviously is his second main series. The first one was obviously Politically Incorrect. This guy has the thing that I really think of when I think of the question and the essence of what I interpreted the question as was this is a guy who focuses mainly on politics. Politics and comedy are the two gigs that they are. The guy who plays with puppets that Chris is talking about, this guy doesn't just do political; he does other things too, which is fine. And I'm not shitting on that. And Jameel's definitely a good pick. George Carlin, obviously one of the greats. But I don't think of Carlin as being just political and comedy. When I think political comedy and I put those two words together, there's only one that comes up to me, and that is Bill Maher. This is a guy who has spent his entire life doing this. Now, obviously, he does do other comedy as well, but this is really his main shtick. This is what he's known for. He's had congressmen coming out at him. He's had everybody on his ass in the political world at one point or another. This is a guy who hits a nerve with pretty much every political party, and he does it really well. So I think that right there just encapsulates the entire question.
Okay. All right, so guys, quick free for all of why you think your guy mixed politics and comedy better than the other guys, and just maybe try and just debunk the other contestant choices here.
Chris, just to start off, I'm going to start off with Chris. Chris, using a proxy to kind of do insensitive material is possibly one of the weakest things that you can comment in the conversation. Like he's using proxies so that he doesn't get any of the politically incorrect statements that he makes, none of the heat on him, whereas at least Jody and myself's person, they said themselves everything that they meant, their stances.
Yeah. It's not a character.
In terms of mixing politics and comedy, we're talking mixing side characters in your case, right, and playing it safe. Okay, that's what I see in terms of Jeff Dunham.
I never knew Jaemeel was so cutthroat, man. I love this. This is a whole other Jaemeel I've never seen.
Chris, what's your rebuttal to what Jaemeel just said?
I don't like my comedians to be so offensive. Like I don't want to listen. Like Jeff Dunham does it in a way that is not offensive to the listener, and that's
you don't think that those puppets aren't offensive?
I don't know. They can swear sometimes. So what?
They are literally characters of people who would be offended.
Yes.
The most famous
he's got a jalapeno for a fucking Mexican. Come on.
So what?
Yeah, and he's got a dead terrorist for an
a
Arab
dead
person.
terrorist for like this is, and I agree with Jaemeel. This proxy thing, 100%. This is
Jeff
yeah.
Dunham is a good comedian. He
Oh,
is
absolutely.
a good comedian. But in terms of mixing politics and comedy, his politics are more racial stereotypes as
Right.
opposed to actual politics itself. Right.
Yeah.
And politics aren't just stereotypes. It's stuff about rights. It's about laws. It's about how countries are managed, right? How people live day to day. And Jeff Dunham, great comedian. Sorry, let me downgrade that. Good comedian, but in terms of being able to mix politics as a whole, he's still in featherweight, dude, compared to these heavyweights here.
Yeah, and just to kind of reiterate what Jameel's saying, I completely agree with everything he said when it comes to Jeff Dunham. Very good comedian, no doubt about it. Very, very well selling as well. Obviously, he's doing something right. I don't think of him as a political comedian. George Carlin, I think more of as a political comedian, but I don't think that's even his main stick. I think of more life observations with Carlin more than anything. Whereas my pick, I think, is clearly the choice here because it is the one that is exactly what this question is about. It is everything about this question. But Jaemeel, to respect your choice, Carlin's a great. He's one of the greats.
And Bill Maher
100%.
is also Politically Incorrect is an excellent show and does a great job in terms of presenting politics to the masses. I cannot
Somewhat
refute that
slanted, but
somewhat slanted, yes, but that's not necessarily the question being at hand.
Yeah.
I,
It's all
I
about
do
bias.
have I do have to give credit where credit's due, but still at the same time argue my point. In terms of Carlin, I'm not really going to bring up his accolades; they are very far-reaching.
Yeah.
But in terms of my argument concerning best at mixing politics and comedy, not just being mainly a political commentator or comedian, but mixing both of them together. George Carlin, I think, has done the greater impactful job. For example, citing the FCC versus Pacifica Foundation Supreme Court ruling in 1973, the seven little words, seven dirty words, was the basis of that whole ruling, and why the Carlin warning was presented, which was to remind uh, uh, comedies or acts of specific rules that they would have to follow during live performances. So they the decision created the governor's power to censor indecent material on public airways. So his comedy has also impacted politics as well.
Right.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
How does Bill Maher comedy affect politics, real quick, Jody?
It affects everything, including your Google search. Type in political comedian. He's the first one up. This is a no-brainer, guys. I don't even know why we're still talking about this. He is literally the epitome of political comedy. That's what he is. That's his entire shtick.
Well, you're right, but he's also not the only guy that you could say that about. You could definitely say that about like a Jon Stewart or a John Oliver, or there's plenty of guys, right?
Yeah.
You seem to pick the one that is like kind of the OG, Jody, and George. Like you said, I feel like George Carlin was a little bit more about like life observation.
He was an everything thing, yeah. And there's no question George Carlin was fantastic at political humor, as he was with every other piece of humor that he ever tried. But when I look at this question just screams Bill Maher. There's no question here. I'm baffled we're still doing this.
Right. Okay. I am going to give this one to Jody because I think he had a great choice here, and so that will put Jaemeel with 3 points, Jody with 2 points, Chris with 1. So that means Jaemeel and Jody will be moving on to the speed round.
Chris has maintained his record. That's the key.
Point.
Yeah, Jody. I did type in a political comedian, and Bill Maher is front and center.
I know.
Yeah, you.
I did it while you were talking.
you won that. So
I didn't know that until I typed it in while you were talking.
It's a good point. That kind of knocked me out, I think, by far.
Yeah, that was a knockout blow, I think, with that one here, Jody. Okay, so moving on to
get dirty.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. So we're gonna move over to the speed round here. So normally what we did in the speed round was we used to have like a this or that choice here in the questioning, but on this speed round I kind of switched it up. You are going to pick your answer, okay? And that
Excellent.
way it's a little bit. You can be a little bit more passionate about like what you're
that's good,
talking
because
about.
it was really hard to argue the shit one. Because there was always two, and there was one shit one that when you got it, you're like, fuck.
So I think what we're gonna do is we're
I'll
gonna
take
give.
the shit one.
Yeah, we're gonna give each contestant 30 seconds, and after you're done your 30 seconds, I'm just gonna decide who gave me a better argument for that the
Okay.
question that I asked. Okay.
Sounds good.
We'll hire Chris. Yeah, we can do that. We can just make it split screen with those two. Actually, why don't we just do that?
Bye, Chris.
Yeah,
we
that's
miss you,
better.
Chris.
Love you, Chris. Don't worry.
Chris can help out on who maybe with me if I need some help deciding who did better in those 30 seconds.
I just want to point out though that I've been on a lot of these, and I think this is probably the strongest one Chris has come out on.
Yeah, Chris.
So I applaud you, Chris. Some of your picks were great.
Thank you.
Chris, I just want to say I was like I knew you were gonna lose after with Jeff Dunham, but I was like, come on, man, Braveheart's a good pick. You can win with Braveheart if you just come out, and you just No.
I did jump on Chris because I wanted to get him out of the
It's a harder one to get around. Yeah.
was a good
He
choice.
he had a good pick.
I you know what? For me, it was on that one. It was between Abe Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, and Braveheart. Pearl Harbor was out because that movie's not entertaining.
I find it entertaining, but
I know it's a cringy watch for me.
the problem is I actually burned myself on that originally because originally I started saying it wasn't too bad except for the love story, which is literally like half of the fucking movie.
It's like 3/4 of
So
it,
if anybody picked up on that, I would have been out right away.
Yeah, for sure. And the host is listening, but that doesn't matter. We're here into the speed round, and we're going to start off with the movie speed round question. Okay, guys. So we're going to start in each round. I think we're just going to go Jody first, Jaemeel second, and we're just going to go like that. Okay, guys. So this is the speed round movie question.
What if we both pick the same thing though?
We won't.
Well, you can on this question. What is the best movie from the year you were born? So Jody, 1977. What's the best movie from 1977?
Star Wars.
Okay, you got 30 seconds. Go.
It's Star Wars. What the fuck? What more do you need to know? This is iconic sci-fi that defined a generation and later on defined a franchise. This is the start of it all, even though Lucas would disagree with you. But this is the start release-wise of it all. And fantastic movie, very entertaining, and movies came out after that trying to mimic the hell out of it, such as Star Trek: The Motion Picture, various other things. It's iconic. You say Star Wars anywhere in the world, they're going to know what the hell you're talking about.
Okay, Jaemeel, your 30 seconds start now.
I'm choosing Rocky 3. Rocky 3 is an iconic piece of entertainment. You have iconic characters like Mr. T's Clubber Lang. You have Apollo and Rocky coming together. You have those iconic runs on the beach. It is the best movie from the year I was born.
You were born in 82?
1982.
No way. I didn't know that. All right. Excellent.
Okay. I think I'm going to give that one to Jody. I think Jody.
Thank you. To my defense, to Jameel's defense, though, I was born in a better year.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? 82 movies. E.T. I can't argue for E.T. because I hate that movie.
Me too.
Burning passion.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't think of any 82 movies at all.
To just side with Jameel a bit, it is a good movie. I liked Rocky 3.
Rocky 3 is good. For me, it was just.
It was the first Rocky I saw in the theater.
I think you were right, Jody. You got the better year you were born in.
I did. Yeah, I did for sure.
I was like, Star Wars. Oh God.
How the hell do I follow Star Wars?
Okay, moving on to the next speed round. It's kind of cool transition anyway.
Okay.
Moving over to the TV question. Okay, starting with Jody. Pick a show that has had the most impressive longevity. Your 30 seconds start now.
Oh, wow. I guess I'll do The Simpsons. I wouldn't say that the the more recent seasons have been great, but it's one of those shows that literally you can watch any season really and be fairly entertained. It's a good show. Obviously the first probably I would say 7 seasons are definitely the pinnacle of that series, but it's just great, very iconic. Again, The Simpsons. You go anywhere in the world, they're going to know The Simpsons as well.
Okay, Jaemeel, your 30 seconds start now.
My choice is Dragon Ball Z.
Hmm.
In terms of animes, especially shonen, which is for boy anime, Dragon Ball Z stands on top as a cultural icon in terms of television, merchandise, where it comes to clothing, where it comes to toys in general. Video games are still made today, top-selling video games from Dragon Ball Z. They keep remaking the show over and over again.
I wish I could rebuttal because I got so many rebuttals on that one. But anyway,
Okay, quick rebuttal, Jody, on that one.
it's a very niche thing. Not everybody's into Dragon Ball Z, and I disagree with you. The games are shit for the most part. There's a couple of good ones.
Okay, Jaemeel, quick rebuttal on The Simpsons.
The Simpsons, no one watches The Simpsons as a cultural, and looking at it as a cultural icon anymore. It is way past its due. Everyone knows that current Simpsons is garbage.
Jaemeel, I'm gonna give that point to you. I think it was stronger.
Well
earned. I still don't understand why Dragon Ball Z is so popular, and I think that's why it has the most
It is a
impressive
terrible
longevity.
show.
Yeah.
It is a terrible show, but I know as a person in anime, it is ridiculously popular. Even people who don't watch anime, they're like, Dragon Ball.
They know Dragon Ball Z. Yeah,
It's stupid.
it's the Pokemon of that. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, moving over to the music speed round.
Ooh.
What is the best a cappella song? Okay, I'm gonna give you a few seconds to think about this because this is very, very difficult. So just kind of think about it, Jody. I'm gonna have your 30 seconds start right about now.
Fuck, I don't know. I don't know. Boys to Men, I guess. What song? They did a couple acapellas. Fuck, I don't know. I'm just gonna say boys. I'm gonna say one of the songs from. Well, that's not a bad one. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, let's go with that.
Which song? What song?
Okay, give him another 30 seconds. It's so hard to say goodbye.
Say goodbye, yeah.
To yesterday.
Yep, that's the one.
Okay, you got a new 30 seconds. Go.
Okay, my 30 seconds is I don't know this very much, and I apologize. And a cappella songs I don't make a habit of listening to, but when I think a cappella, I think bands, and those bands I would say Boyz II Men being one of them.
What are you trying to say? You don't think of Stan Rogers and Northwest Passage?
No, I do not.
Okay, Jaemeel. What is the best a cappella song that you can think of off the top of your head? 30 seconds starting now.
The best a cappella song I can think of on the top of my head is Das Sound Machine's World Championships medley, which was at the end of Pitch Perfect 2. It is a very strong, superior song that has a variety of different songs put together. Plus, the acapella is so strong that the backing cast are able to do the various sound effects, able to switch in between the different sounds that the songs that they are including. And
okay, any rebuttal quickly, Jody? Why is yours better than Jameel's?
Does anybody know that song? Because I don't. I have no idea what the hell he's talking about, so it might be good, might not be. I don't know.
Okay, Jaemeel.
Just give it to him. I don't give a shit.
I know it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. So as the person who knows both songs, I can tell you that my song is better. That is my rebuttal. I know. I actually know which songs I'm talking about, and mine is better.
I sung it. I sung.
Yeah,
does that count for anything?
No.
Okay.
Thank
you, Judge.
I think, Jaemeel gets the point here, guys.
Okay, good. Because it's so hard to think about as a better song.
The only thing I want to, and I'm not trying to be a spoil sport here, but the only thing I can honestly say about this format that sucks is the fact that I have to go every time first. He gets more time to think about shit.
So you know what? We've done three. You know what? We've done 3 in a row where you had to go first. We'll do Jaemeel first.
I'll go first next time.
That would be great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And again,
enough,
I'm not
Jody.
trying to be a bitch about it. I'm just
No, I understand. So okay,
Jody, if I went first for that song, for that one, I would have picked "It's So Hard to Say Goodbye" yesterday.
okay.
I
That makes
knew it
me
off the
feel.
top of my
That
head.
makes me feel better. I couldn't remember
Okay.
the name of the damn song.
starting with Jaemeel.
Yep.
The sports speed round. Whose third jersey in the NHL is the ugliest?
The
You-
Boston Bruins.
You have 30 seconds.
The Boston Bruins. The bear. It's ugly colors. That bear looks stupid. Everyone loves the other jerseys, and you never see anyone wearing it, whether it be out in the streets. You never see it in any type of pop culture because it's UGLY. Doesn't have an alibi. Bury it. It's dead. It's garbage. The Boston Bruins. 30 seconds.
That was great. Jody,
I'm gonna go with the New Jersey Devils.
which one?
I-
The green? The green?
The, the green, red, and white. Every time I see it, it reminds me of Colgate, like some sort of fucking toothpaste or something. Like, do you remember that toothpaste that always came in like all the different lines of colors? And you put it on your brush, and you're like, when you're a kid, you're like, this is fucking amazing. Like, this is the best science ever. But in reality, it just looks like fucking toothpaste. I don't know why everybody still hangs on to that fucking jersey. It's terrible.
It's better.
It's
So-
not better. And I'm a Jersey fan. They're my team, but I hate it.
Okay.
So
quick
quick
rebuttal. Yeah, quick rebuttal, Jaemeel.
Okay. In your own statement, you said you don't know why people still hold on to it. No one holds on to the Boston Bruins bear outfit. That is my rebuttal.
Okay.
Jody, rebuttal to that.
No one cares about your jersey, so no one would know it anyway. But mine is used all the time, and it's offensive every time we see it.
Okay. I think I'm going to have to, even though I disagree with him, I'm going to have to give this one to Jody.
Thank you.
I could not think of a third jersey. It was the first one that popped in my head.
The only other one I could think of would be fuck, Arizona. But that was already gone now anyway. But Arizona's third jersey originally was just god awful.
So I think we're at 5-4, right, Dave?
I got to get this one right.
Okay.
Next one, yeah.
5-4 looks like. Yep.
Yeah, 5-4. Jaemeel leading Jody. Jody's got to get this one right, but he gets to go second on this one. So he gets the second round advantage here.
Okay.
Jaemeel, what is the best song based on a true story? Your 30 seconds starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
American Pie by Don McLean, talking about the day the music died. So you have an iconic song that talks about one of the most impactful days in music history, where Richie Valens, the Big Bopper, and Buddy Holly all died, and its impact in terms of music. This song is taught in schools about music history.
Okay. Moving over to Jody. Your 30 seconds starts now.
This is a tough one for me. What do I pick? Fuck, and I'm going to use all my 30 seconds.
All right. We'll
give you-
pause
give
it.
you
We'll
the-
pause it here. We'll let you have 30 seconds. Okay. You come
Yeah.
up with an
'Cause
answer.
there's two that is thinking to me. Number one, "Smells Like Teen Spirit" by Nirvana, because that is actually based on real life experiences. The way the question is formed, are you actually saying like it has to be an actual event that they're talking about?
Yeah, based on a true story. It's not so you can't be like had to have happened in real life.
Can't be Jeremy from
Yeah.
Pearl Jam.
Like it
I
could
was
be
gonna
about-
pick that
It could be
song.
about an event, though, right?
About a true story, a true event. Yes.
Sunday Bloody Sunday by U2.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, 30 seconds.
Obviously, we all know really what it's about, but about the obviously the bloodshed and everything that happened. It's a song that every time I hear it, it's always eerie, and to me that kind of that brings back the memories of said event. So therefore, I don't really want to say too much about the event because I know that that's a strike thing. So don't go there. But we don't want to get a strike. But essentially, it's about a lot of bloodshed, and it's a terrible thing. And every time I hear that song, I'm always reminded of that event.
Okay, rebuttal, quick, Jaemeel, on that one.
Yes, that song is a okay song, but we're talking about best songs, and American Pie is an iconic song. It covers from the 1950s to 1970s, all the different things that happen. Elvis being drafted to war, Chuck Berry bringing a 14-year-old across state lines. Once again, once the music dies, the day the music dies, constantly referenced. I I think this is the best song by far.
Okay. Well, for me, I just my pick just kind of it instills the emotions that I think the song needs. When I think of your song, yes, it is an iconic song. There's no question. I don't really care. It's whereas when I think of Sunday Bloody Sunday and the events that are being portrayed based on the song, that's a little tear in my heart where a bunch of dead guys that died. Don't really care that much, but social unrest and war and all that is just it's much different when you deal with Northern Ireland. So.
Okay. I'm going to give this round actually to Jody, but I have a reason for why I'm going to give it to him. Mainly because Jameel's, yes, it's about the story about the day like Buddy Holly died, but it's really about
Multiple
the 60s.
things.
Yeah, it's about a multiple amount of stories.
I was waiting for Jody to knock me out and say
I was thinking of that, but I wasn't totally sure if that's what it was, so I didn't go there.
I thought you were going to say mine is based on an actual story. Yours is on a telling of a bunch of stories. I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah, I to be quite honest, I don't know enough of your song. I know the song, but I don't know enough of the song to be able to say that for sure. Yeah,
vice versa. I couldn't really say anything about your song at all.
Either way, good pick. It was a good pick, though.
Ditto as well.
So we're going into our last tie-breaking speed round question. This is for all the marbles. This is to see who wins
big one.
This round. And
before we start, I just want to say, Jaemeel, you are a very worthy competitor.
Jody, I am. I've been a watcher and listener of this show. Jody, you amaze me each time. You are one hell of a competitor, and
thank you.
This is a pleasure. I wish Chris one day can get up to your level so that he's trying. Chris, keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna get there.
As I said, though, Chris's game was fairly strong. His picks were pretty good this time. Unfortunately, he's got two powerhouses that were going against him. So
it has been a pleasure.
Okay.
And also kudos to the host. Thank you, Jeff. Great job.
And of course, the producer behind the scenes, Dave Mater.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. All right, guys.
Okay, this is it. Jaemeel will start first. I will give you some time to think here because this is a thinking question again as well.
Yeah, don't start him right away. Like, give him a minute to think about it too.
We'll say 30 seconds when you start talking. So just kind of you have a moment to kind of collect your thoughts. Okay. Wild card question. Speed round. Name the most iconic movie poster.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
Okay. My choice is Star Wars: A New Hope. Not only is this poster...
Pause there. I just want to bring it up.
Okay, yeah, we'll give it a second, and we'll give you 30 seconds to explain why. We'll bring up the poster. We'll show us the poster. Show the crowd the poster, just so we can get your explanation as to why this poster is the most iconic.
Okay. Should I
almost have it?
Okay. He's there. 1 sec. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so just go full screen on that, Dave. Okay, so Jaemeel, your 30 seconds will start right now.
When you think of movies in terms of its legacy, the Star Wars poster and why it's impressive is it does take elements from previous movies from the past, which were the historical epics, but then also brings it to the sci-fi realm. And you have these posters that represent everything that's going on. You look at it and you automatically know who are the main characters in play. Where's the overlooking force that they're fighting against in the background? A multitude of movie posters have also followed suit in taking this as the basis of what they base their movie posters on. The artist of this poster has also gone on to explode in work and constantly has to go back and make their version of this poster once again. By far, this is the most iconic poster in movie history.
Okay, so we gave him a minute, and we're going to give Jody a minute as well. Okay,
I
so
have my answer already, but it's
Can I get it?
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll get
Alien.
it. So what's Alien? The first Alien.
Yep.
Okay,
One
not
second.
aliens.
I'll
Alien.
find it. So we will go to Alien, and just going to bring it up
Good,
quick here.
good pick, Jaemeel. By the way.
Thank you.
And here is Alien. We're going to go full screen, and we're going to give Jody his 1 minute to talk about why this poster is the most iconic. Okay, 30. Your 1 minute starts now.
Okay, so this movie, the reason why I love this poster is because it doesn't tell you a lot, which is exactly what the movie is supposed to do. This movie is a suspense movie. This movie is really, it's a lot of people think of it as a horror movie, but it's more of a suspense movie, really. You very rarely see the actual alien in this movie. You know, you have a simple alien up at the top. You have the little egg with the little crack in it, and all you have is one tagline: "In space, nobody can hear you scream." And it's so true. This movie just spends the entire time blowing your mind when it comes to suspense. You know, there's always these false things and everything. But the thing that I love about this poster is it's very simplistic, but it gets right down to the point. It is an unknown, and you're going to watch an unknown. And the best thing about it is you get that little tiny catchphrase, and that grabs you. It's just something that it's always been very powerful to me. I agree with Jameel's argument as well when it comes to his, but I just find everything about this, it doesn't tell you anything, and that's what it should do for this type of movie. Shouldn't tell you a whole lot of anything.
Okay, so do you guys want to rebuttal, or are you guys good? You're happy with what you said?
I'd like to chime in.
Okay.
Jody, great pick once again. That poster is indeed iconic. But in terms of its legacy, don't really see it being referenced to. It hasn't become a long-standing poster thing that people refer back to. Whereas mine, the poster set off a chain of events in terms of how even the movie industry is even being used. People now ask the artist who made it, Tom Chantrell, who made it.
Great illustrator, yeah.
Yes, great illustrator. They employ him to make posters of their movies, and then provide it to investors to raise money for the movie. It's like a point of context. He is just as important in some ways as the script itself in terms of selling a movie. Right?
Okay,
Yep.
Jody, rebuttal.
I agree with a lot of what you're saying, Jaemeel. The only argument I really have to say on this is the fact that this isn't even the poster that they used for the re-release. When they re-released the Aliens, they kept the same stuff. It's the exact same thing. Even the DVD box set. This is the picture on the DVD box set. This is the picture on the Blu-ray. Star Wars is notorious for changing posters constantly. You know, you've had theatrical releases, 3 different theatrical releases for Star Wars, out of which a poster has been different every single time. If it was that iconic, why are we not using it for every single one? Whereas with Alien, every time I see that egg, I know exactly what I'm looking at. This is exactly it. And when you say it's not being used a lot, I see this a lot in the background in movies. Alien is just, it's an iconic thing. And anybody who's into sci-fi knows exactly what you're looking at when you see that egg.
Okay, so now I'm going to do something where I don't want to be the sole person to decide this. So I'm going to give my vote, and then but I'm going to do that after both Chris and Dave get their vote to who they think should win this
Cool.
round.
I
Okay,
like it.
Chris, who's your vote for?
Unfortunately, I don't want to vote for him, but I'm going to have to give this one to Jody.
I love how he started that, though. I don't want to vote for him.
Don't feel bad. Jody did a great argument, I think. He did a great job.
I'm going to give my vote for Jaemeel because that egg is not iconic for me. I'm not a fan of the Alien
How many
franchise.
times? Well, then that's why it's not iconic, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking at when I look until I look at the title above, which I wouldn't.
I feel very sad for you.
Thank you.
I enjoy Jody's point where he said that they don't need to change that poster for every new
No,
release.
it's the same thing.
Like I have Star Wars on VHS, and it's got a different front cover.
Yep. Yeah, there's so many covers for that one.
Right. Okay, so my decision is going to be based off the nature of the question, and I do think that Jaemeel actually answered the question the best, because for me, the iconic nature of the poster is when you see that, you go, oh, that's the poster to that movie. And I think the influence that the Star Wars poster, I mean, if you look at any Avengers poster, it basically is modeling after that Star Wars poster. It was the first one to slam, like, all those characters on one poster. So for me, Jaemeel wins the round and the game.
I just have a question, though. Sorry, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
After we hear the applause, I guess. And again, I'm not shitting on you, but when I hear the term iconic, I don't think of everybody tried to copy it. That doesn't scream iconic. But anyway, again, to you, Jaemeel, fantastic argument.
Well, what is an icon, right? Like, an icon is something that you want to...
Influencer.
That never
That's how I'm looking at
changes.
it.
It's always the same. When I see Superman's logo, I know that's Superman.
They
When
took
I see that
Superman's
egg,
logo.
I know that. Well, they
Star
have.
Wars-
Yes, you're right.
Star Wars
Bad
couldn't help
example.
Star Wars couldn't help itself, though. They were always tinkering and changing
The
things. But
merchandising alone.
Either way, great
points, Jody. I actually thought I didn't get that one, honestly, because
I can't see how you got that one, but anyway, that's fine. It's all in the judge.
I actually agree with...
Oh, kill me now. Well done, Jaemeel.
Well,
done,
that
Chris.
is this edition of Trivial Debates. Thank you to all our contestants, Chris Seymour, Jody Simpson, Jaemeel Robinson. Thanks for joining me. All your arguments were passionate and
Can I
great.
just say one thing?
Yeah, Jody. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say I'm glad I didn't lose to Chris.
What do you mean? You glad you didn't lose to Jeff Dunham?
If I'm going to lose to anybody, I'm going to lose to Jaemeel. That's fine.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So follow us, guys, on the Facebook and YouTube feeds for Trivial Debates. Make sure to check out our other podcasts as well. Live Long and Podcast, where we cover Star Trek TV movies. We're going to be catching up on Lower Decks that will be coming out in the next few months. We're still covering DS9. Star Trek Deep Space Nine with Jaemeel on Tuesday nights. We're making our 3.5-year journey to cover every episode of DS9. Be sure to check us over at Super Mario Bros. Podcasting, where we cover a scripted and reality TV. Right now, we are going through different seasons of Survivor with Josh Foster, who has just a insatiable appetite for Survivor right now. So he loves talking about which season he's watched next. So if you guys are interested in any of those topics, please join us. Catch us for Knee Jerk Sports as well. It's a new sports podcast that we just started with my buddy Adam King, where we do. That one's the knee jerk reactions to sports events, or we also do knee jerk predictions. So we recorded one podcast where we did predictions of the NHL. And who we thought was going to do well in the first rounds of the playoffs.
not the Leafs.
Yeah, well, I said the Leafs are probably not going to get through. I think they're going to lose. But even as a Leaf fan, it sucks. But
Jersey Devils.
no,
It
there's
won't
no
be the Devils.
There's no Detroit Red Wings either, which I know is Jameel's team.
No,
It's
Red
definitely not
Wings.
going to be the Devils.
No.
But we will be covering sports. Every time there's a big playoff thing or a big event, we'll be hopping on to kind of give us our hot take reactions to everything going on in the world of sports. So join us next time in about a month for our next Trivial Debate.
Last Sunday of every month.
The last Sunday of every month, and we'll be excited to see you guys.
We need to figure out who's hosting the next one.
Yeah, we need to figure out who's hosting. Jaemeel, since you won, if you have first dibs, if you want to host, you're more than welcome.
Let's talk.
So it's up to you if you're free.
It's part of the crown, Jaemeel.
Otherwise,
It's
we'll
part of
figure it
the
out.
crown.
We have a month to figure it out who's going to be on the panel. So no worries.
Yeah, we'll still have to figure out who's on the panel and everything. It's a month away, so you got lots of time to prepare if you want to do it. So having said that, without further ado, I'm signing off for Trivial Debates. I'm Jeff Mader. Thanks, everybody.
Here comes the theme music.
Oh, yeah.